Well, despite my better judgment, I decided to spend my keys on Infinity Ultron. I have historically not had great things to say about this card. Not that I want it to fail. Like, more than anything, I want this card to be cool. I want it to be successful. I want it to be a card that I recommend everybody go get, because if nothing else, it's fun. Like, I feel like Thanos is a card that everybody should have. Thanos is in a good spot right now, but even if he's not, it's just a cool card to play. The same way that Agamotto is a cool card to play, or Erishim. And I think Infinity Ultron is, for most people, in that same category where it's like, oh, cool, look at this new card that does something cool, and I want to play it. And I want people to be able to have that experience. I think you should play Marvel Snap for fun. So if Infinity Ultron looks fun for you, I think he's worth spending your resources on. Like, for a moment in time, maybe throw out the min-max resources and pick a card that is fun. I don't know. It's up to you. But I haven't been particularly high on Infinity Ultron because you're committing a pretty low power turn 5 to play 2 extremely underpowered 3 costs on turn 6. In no world is that a good winning condition. Like, the closest comparison I can make where you play a low-powered turn 5 to try and have a good turn 6 is with Sarah. And Sarah is the exact opposite. You play Sarah so you can play 3 drops on turn 6, where this is only allowing you to play 2, and they're dramatically understated, and sometimes their powers are pretty horrible. Yeah, sure, you can get the nut draws. I watched that happen exactly once, not to me, but to somebody else. Where you get like the Infinity Mind Stone and the Power Stone, or you get the Power Stone and the Reality Stone that gives you a drone, right? The Power Stone is very, very, very good, don't get me wrong. Overall, I haven't thought that Infinity Ultron would be very consistent or very good. So I decided maybe I'll get my keys and see if I can brew something up with him. I think that's part of the downfall that happens with new cards, is that people lean so far into the one new card and doing the thing from the new card. Like, that's the win condition. That's the whole build around of the deck. And in general, that's not a good idea ever. But with Infinity Ultron in particular, that's even a worse idea because it is so RNG dependent. And so I thought, okay, well, what if I try and build a deck that isn't just an Infinity Ultron deck? It's just a good deck that Infinity Ultron is in, and I actually feel like there is a position where he can actually be that. I think I've actually found one. I'm excited to show it to you. So all of that to say that what if here has actually been pretty good. And I'm kind of disappointed because I've been making a lot of decks like this already. Like the last deck I made for Captain Carter, the one about being a bully, was similar to this. But I found that this is actually pretty good just in general. But also with Infinity Ultron, this deck can be pretty good. And it is a 72% win rate for me. And it has also done well for me in Conquest, where I've been testing it. It's just consistently a pretty good deck. We'll get into the gameplay quickly, and you can see why. But the reason I feel that way is that you can generally get Infinity Ultron out on 5 and see if you've got good options. And there's cards here to enable those options to be even better, with Elsa Bloodstone or Galacta potentially giving Infinity Ultron more power, so that even if you don't get the Power Stone, but you do get the Reality Stone that adds a drone, that drone can be 8 power, that drone can be 9 power. You know, that's better than a 6 power drone, so you've got some options there. Additionally, this deck wants to fill up locations, and so that's great, right? You can benefit from the Soul Stone or whatever it is, I forget which one it is. The other options as well is that Hope Summers just gives you energy. And I found that I actually like this version better than a Luna Snow version, and this is the reason why. Luna Snow, you get +1 energy. Unless something else happens, you're not getting any more than +1 energy. Well, with Hope Summers, you can play up to 3 cards in her location and get +3 energy. And I found that that was actually really significant with Infinity Ultron, because you could play, you know, something on 4 and have +1 energy. So you play Infinity, like I would play like a Galacta or a Captain Carter in Hope Summers. So then on turn 5 I have 6 energy. So I play Infinity Ultron and Kitty Pryde on Hope Summers. So on turn 6 I now have 8 energy. That's significant. 8 energy is significant and allows you to have, like, yeah, maybe you are going to play the stones, but you can also do other things you need to do to be able to contest a second location that Infinity Ultron is not in. So that is why I found Hope Summers to be the best. The rest of these cards here are just good Hope Summers, Elsa Bloodstone cards. Captain Carter is also a card that I'm just finding insane value in this deck. I can't believe that like it took me this long to figure out how to play Captain Carter the right way, but it's just a great card that enables me to hold down another location. Like Elsa Bloodstone and Angela and Hope Summers are going to do their thing in their deck, especially with Kitty Pryde or Jeff going there. Like that location is probably going to be one. Well, Captain Carter, even at a late game with extra energy, that 8 energy like I mentioned on turn 6, can allow me to win a second location. Believe it or not, she can turn the tides late game. So there's just all these pieces that say, let me have options for winning. And on 5, if I play Infinity Ultron, maybe I'll get some winning stones. And if I don't, I've got some other cards I can play. Now, before we get into the gameplay, just kind of quickly go through the cards. I don't know if this is helpful for people, but talk about why I decided each of them to be included in here, some potential swaps you could make if need be. Kitty Pryde, just because this is an Angela, Elsa Bloodstone, Hope Summers deck, Kitty Pryde is pretty essential to that. Quinjet, to discount the stones. It's also just a good one drop. Jeff is here for the same reasons. Angela, Elsa Bloodstone, Hope Summers is great. You can play Jeff on them and move them out of the way to keep playing cards there. Adam Warlock here is just for card draw, because this deck, like you need you need your Hope Summers, you need your Galacta, you want your Captain Carter, like you just want those cards that are pretty good. So Adam Warlock is just good card draw. Hydra Bob here is just like a good value 1 cost. In all the gameplay, he was in here for Maria Hill. The reason for that, this is so silly. I have played so much Victoria Hand that I almost felt restricted by a typical 12-card deck that like I didn't have enough options. I almost felt like, man, I need like a card generator that like gives me other options in case my card draw isn't good. I have ruined myself by playing so much Victoria Hand that I'm used to the luxury of having options. However, I found with Snowguard and Infinity Ultron and Adam Warlock that sometimes my hand was getting full, and there was multiple games where I only got 1 stone from Infinity Ultron because my hand was too full to get 2. And so this morning I took out Maria Hill. I do think Hydra Bob is more value than Maria Hill. I don't think you need her, and there was never really a game where the 2 drop that I got from Maria Hill would turn the tides. If you do want some more options that you felt like me, that like, oh, maybe these 12 cards aren't enough, I want a random card generator, I would go with something like an Agent 13 or an Iron Patriot. But Hydra Bob here is great value because same thing, you can play him into your Elsa Bloodstone, Hope Summers, Angela location, and use that same turn you can snap and he'll jump out of the way at the end of that turn, similar to what Jeff can do. Snowguard is here because, 1, Quinjet is here, and so it's hard for me to not play card generating cards. But also Snowguard is just an incredible location tech. Yeah, it's more expensive than something like a Magic, or more expensive than something like a Scarlet Witch, or more expensive than something like a Rhino. However, the location control is different than any of those cards, and I actually really like it. I've won multiple games, and this deck did incredibly well for me in Conquest because of the Snowguard's ability to manage locations. I'm actually finding this card to be insanely valuable, the same way that I feel like recently people are finding the card Quake to be valuable. Like, location control is worthwhile, and Snowguard is a unique amount of location control that I'm finding myself particularly enjoying. And yeah, like you could make an argument to take this out for anything else, but I'm liking it. And then I've talked about all the other cards. Hope Summers is your energy enabler. Galacta and Elsa Bloodstones are just your power enablers to get cards up. Angela is just a good, consistent power enabler. You're playing cards in a single location anyway for Hope Summers and Elsa Bloodstone, so why not benefit from Angela? And then Infinity Ultron is Infinity Ultron. If you need some card swaps, Kitty Pryde is going to be pretty hard to swap. You could go for something like a Nightcrawler to get a similar effect for Jeff as well. If you're missing Jeff, I would put in Nightcrawler. Snowguard, you could put in for any 1-drop that you want, or potentially a 2-drop. You could do something like a Nico would also be really good here. I'm always a fan of Iceman being good. Spider-Ham, any of those cards. Nebula, you could do. Same thing with Hydra Bomb, just put in another good 1-drop. You could potentially put in a 2-drop like a Mirage or a Goose if you wanted to. Adam Warlock, I'm also on the fence about if this is a card that I really want. I might take Adam Warlock out and put in the Collector, but if I put in the Collector, I'd probably put Maria Hill or Agent 13 back in for Hydra Bob. Angela, I think everybody should have for Angela. So, right? Angela's... Yeah, everybody has Angela. She's Series 1. Okay. Elsa Bloodstone, if you don't have Elsa Bloodstone, I think a lot of people do have her. If you don't, she's a good card. I recommend going after her. If you don't have Elsa Bloodstone, I just go for a good tech card. Something like a Cosmo, a Rocket Raccoon and Groot, a Luke Cage, a Rogue, something along those lines. So you can also go for Miss Fantastic, believe it or not. Hope Summers is kind of the linchpin here. Without Hope, this deck can't really do the things that it needs to do, but you could go for Luna Snow and get a similar effect. If you don't have Captain Carter, you could go for anything like another tech card. I would probably just put in Shang. This deck doesn't have a lot of tech, and so sometimes cards can go over you. I actually personally, 2 cards that you could put in, well, 3 cards. In my experience, this deck doesn't really need to compete with decks that can go over the top of you. It doesn't really need a Shang because with the likes of Hope Summers, Galacta, and Elsa Bloodstone, you can generally go over the top of other cards. In some situations, you're not going to be able to. But what you do struggle with is if it's a good ongoing deck. You don't have a lot of ways to deal with that. So the likes of Enchantress, Rogue, Red Guardian, Echo, any of those cards you could put in because I found like this deck struggled more against ongoing. Copycat is also a good, valuable card to put in anything. So yeah, those are your card swaps if you're missing your cards. If you're missing one of these key linchpins like Elsa Bloodstone, Galacta, or Captain Carter, I would just put in a good tech card. Again, Echo, Copycat, Rogue, or Enchantress. Or maybe Shang-Chi, depending on what your pocket meta is. So is Infinity Ultron a good card? Well, it's hard to say. I did find myself excited to play him on 5. Similar to just the way that I like playing Marvel Snap, these card generators, these Victoria hand decks, it's like, well, let's see what I get. Like, that is a way that I like playing Marvel Snap. And so there's a little bit of excitement, like, well, let's see what Infinity Ultron gives me. And in this particular deck here that I just showed you, it would never felt like playing Infinity Ultron was a bad idea. Like, seeing the options that he gave me always felt worthwhile. But multiple times it was like, oh, well, that's not a good option. Let me play something else. And this deck was able to give me those options to play something else. I don't recommend going all in on Infinity Ultron. I didn't find any value in that. At first, I was feeling like in the other decks I was playing, it was like, oh, well, I'd rather have anything else besides Infinity Ultron at this moment, like something to help me win the game. Where in this deck, it didn't feel as horrible to include Infinity Ultron. Like, it didn't feel like a bad thing. It just felt like a card that gave me options, and sometimes it was a good thing, and sometimes it was just a neutral thing, and I played other cards to win. So I don't know. Maybe I was wrong about Infinity Ultron. Overall, I had a lot of fun with this deck. I've been playing a lot of decks like this anyway. I like this type of deck anyway, and I'm not surprised, but also surprised to find that Infinity Ultron has room in this type of deck. That, you know, maybe he's actually valuable here. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling. It's super early in the morning, and I also stayed up very late trying to brew up this deck, and I'm still just not sure about Infinity Ultron, so I'm rambling a bit. But I appreciate all of you watching, and let me know, did you pick up Infinity Ultron? Are you saving your keys? What are you seeing when you play against him? What's your experience with Infinity Ultron? And have fun with the deck if you need. Deck code's in the description. Thanks for watching. It means a lot to me. Oh my gosh. What did I discard? They got rid of Galactus, right? Yeah. Well, we got Infinity Ultron, which is cool. Nimrod Galactus, I'm assuming. We'd love if that pulled Ultron. What is this deck? I'm okay with that. Well, what the heck is this? I do want to draw some cards, but I actually think I'm going to like it over here more because I can play 2 cards next turn on Hope, which I think is going to be worth it. No, avoid that at all costs. jet. I mean, I'm locking myself into that location. But I think that might be okay. Hey! Add a drone. Move the lowest. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Snow guard. Ignore all locations. They have priority. So I can do this. That. Into... Actually, hold on. Hold on. Do I want to do that? If I do this... Add a drone here. Oh, see, that will get hit by... Dang. Oh, but what if I do this? Let's see. Each turn, the first cards you play at another location. Dang it, so you have to do it in order, which is frustrating. Oh, but I could do this. I could do Infinity Stone. Snow Guard. No, I can't. Okay, I don't think Galacta is going to be it. What if we do this? And then Infinity Stone, followed up by Snow Guard. We just try and win that way. Let's see if that can do the trick, maybe? I don't know. They could win center. I haven't known. They could... Oh my gosh. I'm going to send the 6 power over there. And they're going to win by 1 point. Oh my gosh, barely. Okay. What are our options, Maria? Airship, yeah. Ooh, I've never seen that variant before in my life. What do I think they're gonna play? There, maybe? Yes, nailed it. Oh, interesting indeed. Sweet, dodged an Enchantress. Which means basically nothing. Does it do something like this? And that. Yeah, I don't know if this is the right move, but we're going for it. There you are, Hope. 1 turn late. I think we just ignore Throne Room altogether. Power Stone, double, move the lowest power behind. Sweet. I don't care about that. Double is sweet. That is just quantity the most. However, they can put more numbers there than they can over here. However, this is going to get the doubling, and this will not, so I think this is the right move, right? Well, I can also just move something, but it gains +2, so I don't want to do that. Yeah, I think this is the move. Oh, I forgot about Mockingbird. Victory. I had priority. Why did they play Eliath? Ooh. I'll take that. Now the question is, do I want to play Adam Warlock there? Heck no, I'm not playing that. I do like card draw. I don't need that much card draw though. Oh, man, it's tough to know what is right to do. Well, could have played it in either spot. Well, my hand's gonna be full now. But I could do this. My hand will literally be full. What is this? Discard the card that costs the least. So it would hit a snow guard, potentially. Or Hope or Elsa. You know what? Let's just risk it for the biscuit. Ah, phew. Yeah, we'll do that. They can also Shang me, which would be very annoying. Yeah, this is an Ajax deck. Affliction style deck. Dang, if only I had Hope earlier, I could ramp out Quinjet. Is the better option actually to just straight up ignore the Infinity Ultron? But where's the fun in that? He's a new card. This is not smart. Soulstone, what is this? Full locations, double his power. Okay. Oh. We're okay with that. No. I'm gonna leave my Hulks there. Snowguard and Infinity Stones just got cheaper with Quinjet. Getting 9 energy next turn. This is good stuff. Who knows what on earth is happening? This is either an Ajax or a Surfer list. For each full location. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna double, which is cool. Oh, dang, there's not enough room for everything. For each of your full locations, give one of your cards that are +2 power. So I think it's each location gets +2. I think that this is a bigger deal than giving each location +2. However, they could totally just Shang me, and I'd be cooked. Let's see what happens. Ooh. Oh my gosh. If is this a flip? How did they know? What are the chances of that? Is this a flippin' hazmat? I'm gonna be so mad if this is a hazmat. Oh my gosh. How did they know that this was gonna hit Wong? Okay, so maybe the +2 power would have put me over. No, it wouldn't have only put me at 7. But I could have moved Jeff, actually. And got the Galacta buff there. Wow. What are the chances of that? Oh, gosh. Useless junk. What did they discard? Too bad for you, brother. I wonder if they're doing the Ultron Surfer combo. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, what are with these? Okay, that's fine, yeah, get rid of that. I actually don't want my hand that full. What are with these draws? If this was a Victorian hand deck, I would be over the moon right now with these draws. Oh, Grapple Hook allows us to proc some Hope Summers some more. Which is exactly what we're gonna do. So, I'll do things. Do you play Galacta? Yeah, they are doing that. Okay, so we have the option to do Galacta here. I'd prefer not, though. However, we miss out on any Galacta buffs next turn, which is a bummer. But we'll see. Some people are just jerks. Fine. Be the way that you are. You know what? I'm actually just gonna go into this, and then we'll let Jeff get the Elsa buff. Actually, what if we do it over here? Then we can Captain Carter next turn. I have no idea what we're drawing. I hope you got stupid stones with your Red Guardian. Is that the best move? I think so. Oh, they went for left. We're cooked. Depending on what this stuff is. I should have never doubted. Victory. Should have never doubted. This deck doesn't have Dazzler. I got Dazzler from Maria Hill. That was sweet. Eh. Do I want to give him a card to try? I mean, I'd rather not clog myself out, but we will see. Wow. They are lucky. That's right. We got... I hope they draw wrong. Is this a joke? This is an absolute joke. Here, have a rock. I mean, that like boosts their carnage or something, but
what a game.
Whatever. I'd rather them have it than me. don't need these locations to be filling up my hand. I should snow guard bear on the Subterranea. Okay, well, they didn't Carnage, so Oscorp Tower will not give them value. Their hand is also decently full, so I could snow guard bear on Camp Lehigh and really frustrate them. That's actually kind of funny to me, if I'm being honest. No, I think I'll... Oh, well, may as well do it this way. Do we do that just for energy? I think so. Okay, once again, the story's changed. Reality. Oh, power and... That's one of the good combos. Okay. Well, guess what? What we are going to do is we're just going to do that. Power. Oh, okay, we can't do it all. Because we got to just avoid a limbo. Turn that off. Okay, wow, this is kind of annoying. I think that's all we can do to win, if I'm being honest. And this is just for the speed buff. I mean, we got the dream combo with Infinity Power Stone and Reality. But it just, like, spacing-wise, it doesn't work. Curve-wise, we don't quite have the energy. Specifically because if we don't turn off Limbo, I don't think we really stand a chance. Yeah, they were going to Zola that next turn. No doubt about it.
Victory.
Okay. Goodbye. Oh, what am I about to lose? Okay, that's probably the best thing to lose. Where's Kitty Pride? We need ourselves a Kitty Pride. That's fine. I'm not worried about a rock.
What a game!
Obviously, Deadpool in the Shuri's lab is also scary. So turning that off could be big for us. We can also just, like this could be winning. This could be a winning play line. Yeah, Shuri's Lab with a Destroy Zola deck is kind of scary. We can Snow Guard, I think. They didn't go for it.
I definitely need to change my underwear.
Who has priority? Me, I'm assuming. I know that's technically less power, but it gives me more options. Next turn. Well, so there's no need to move the Jeff right now. I mean, Deadpool going here is just really difficult for us to overcome. That's pretty big. Oh, that's beautiful. We just turn off it with Snow Guard, though. Right? Cool. Yeah, that's the biggest power we can put there. Turn it off everywhere else. I do not know. I think that power actually might matter because they could Venom there, and that'd be the end of me. Let's see what happens. Yeah, this is Venom, which is just gonna get ginormous. However, I'm gonna turn off the doubling for them. Yeah, nice.
I definitely need to change my underwear.
I mean, they would have lost anyway, but avoiding the doubling definitely helps.